More Resident Evil 4 starts now. This is a good shot of the island. It's a good establishing shot. We saw one prior in a car cutscene, right?
Got some business to take care of. See you later.
I do love the dynamic of these two.
Women.
I don't remember if they kept that in the remake or not. I'll have to keep an eye out for that specifically. I feel like they wouldn't keep that in.
You, but Salazar's dead.
Yes, it seems that way.
Sadler, why don't you give up and let Ashley go home?
Perhaps you are disillusioned with overconfidence, just because you killed my small-time subordinate.
Sadler, you're small-time.
Thrive in my cage of torment, my friend.
I do like that. I almost feel like that's almost a Chekhov's gun-ism, right? Well, because if it's there in the first act, by the third it'll be used. Strictly because Cage of Torment refers to like very on the nose of the U3 boss fight, right? I don't know if Chekhov's gun is necessarily going to be the absolute one-to-one there, but like I like that it's a little bit of foreshadowing, right? At minimum, we could argue it's foreshadowing. But then again, like, you know, obviously it's left ambiguous. Cage of Torment being the island itself, right? I'm trying to remember. I'm so used to the remake. I never find all the links gems too. Like there's one that I like always miss. Is that a treasure over there? No, it can't be. Help! I'm stuck. Ledge stuck. So going back and watching some of the footage, it feels like the audio at like, because I have it about at 25% in my Microsoft Mixer, right? Like if I go to like Mixer on dashboard, right, or like on desktop, like. I like that Krauser's the one carrying her in the remake, but I think it makes sense that he's not the one here because of I guess handing her off, right? So I'm a little mixed. On one hand, it's like I figured you could actually do that. You could actually shoot that out. You hit the casing, not the light itself. What was I saying? Right. So like it's at like 25%, but when I go to 30, it's way too loud, especially when like. Because right now it's pretty reasonable sound-wise, right? But once I go to 30, it feels like it just drowns my voice out. Like there's a very like slim margin for when where that perfect audio is, and I haven't been able to isolate it yet. For Resident Evil 4 specifically, because old game is old. Usually it's anywhere between, depending how the game is mixed and mastered. Usually it's anywhere between 20 and 30. The odd game will do 35 to 40, but that is definitely a rarity. I think he just spawns in front of me. I almost ate shit on that one. Man, I sure do love that belt-fed miniguns have the same mechanics as a 20-round magazine off of an AR-15. Just counting bullets, it was like about 20 to 30. I couldn't actually count them. Right over his head. Trying to do this without wasting health. I'm very calculated in the way I approach things, or at least try to be. I will definitely put my back against a wall. Like in the remake, there's a rock here that you go around and you loop around, and I'll camp out there. 100% we'll just camp there all day. My lips hit my pop filter, my the fuzzy part, soft part over my mic, and my brain immediately was like, dude, I really want like really puffy Cheetos, but my body is like, I really don't want really puffy Cheetos because that is a lot of oil and salt, and that will make my stomach upset. So this is coming from the same dingus who will drink au jus with a Philly cheesesteak or a French dip, right? Where are you shooting me from? Man, I'm so glad he's as bad as aiming as I am. I think the searchlight, knocking that out makes it a little easier. I think knocking it out made it so that way they don't all mollywob me at once, like when I hop into the middle. Because the searchlight immediately hops to you, so I'll have to see if there's an equivalent in the remake. So just gotta embrace your inner marine. You just gotta like go right up to them and just hit him with the hit him with whatever caliber this is. Just shove the revolver down their throat. Just call it good. It's close enough. What do you mean these rounds are good for 300 to 500 yards? Nah, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't sound like point blank. I don't know what you're talking about. That's crazy. Heresy, even. I fucking love this game. Like this reflector rotates. I do like that it gets the little, I guess the square patterns on the glass to begin with, right? The reflector. But I do like that it gives you the audio, because if you actually run into, I think it's an instant death, right? It's a literal laser, but it gives you that audio cue, the bzzz, as well as the visual turning red, right? Multiple levels of clarification, right? If that makes sense. Huge fan of that. Magnum, sure. Vector rotates. I also think that's interesting. So if you hit this, you can't actually, like, it clips through it, right? You can't Zelda bounce, well, not even Zelda, I don't think you can do that, right? You can't bounce it off of it again. It seems like there is a binary yes-no pass-fail state, where is this reflected, yes-no, and then obviously that's why you're able to clip through this, at least if I were to intuit that. I also like that the laser is pretty thick, right? As it moves, you get kind of that triplicate effect, as you can see, but when it's stationary, you kind of get, it's because it almost looks like there's three beams that are all converging into one, and I don't know why, as they move towards the end, notice that they split, right? Like they split off from the main one. Dude, this laser is blowing my mind. And obviously it locks into play there. It has a little bit of sticky aim assist as well, so you try to overcorrect and it goes back to the actual thing. I mean, for a minimalist section, I do think that it was done very well. I think that, especially in the remake, them putting in the remake, I think it was done very well in there too. Especially because, like, to get to that, you had to go past a turret. You had to turn a turret and the sensor off to one side, right? I thought they handled it very well in the remake. I very much did. I think there's guys up there. Maybe? I could have swore that there were guys up there, up top. There it is. Found it. Nope, they just disappeared. Oh, come on. I can't respond to that. It was so quick. I also like that they now have body armor and helmets. Most of them have helmets now. Very good escalation of difficulty, where you get the zealots who are pretty much, some of them have helmets and stuff, right? None of the Ganados themselves, but now very much more of, like paramilitary, mercenary, like armor and stuff, right? Good way to visually showcase progression in the game, as well as visually showcasing the differences in enemy variety, right? Like an escalation, if as it were. I don't think you can hit that searchlight, though. We're gonna figure that out when I'm not getting fired at, because I don't want to needlessly lose health. Trying to figure out if they're just gonna be... It should be a dick, aren't you? Oh, I'm so glad I hit that. I do like the gas mask and barbed wire ones. I think these guys would fit at home, and from what I understand of Resident Evil Revelations 2, right? The one on the Soviet island with Alex Wesker, right? The T-Phobos virus. I feel like those would fit really at home with that, right? Oh, it's gonna hurt to leave behind. That's why I wanted to go there. Because you can also tell if you go on... Pick the emerald. I think I always miss that emerald, actually. Because you can kind of see... You can't add... You can kind of see it through there. And see it... you're able to kind of piece it together that you go back there. I guess if you really wanted to argue... So you saw a green light there. You see green light here. You see, okay, go to green light, nothing here, and then you turn around, and then you see green light there. That way, you know which way the path is. So you have like you have a try point there. I never see any lore channel talk about these. I never see any lore channel talk about these murals. I mean, like, sure, not really anything to talk about, right? Sure, just sacrificial mural, right? But like, I don't think I've seen a single lore channel talk about. I'm sure they have. I'm sure that they exist, right? But like, golden links. But like, I've never seen them talk about it, especially in the remake where we got more lore about like how Sadler's ancestors, the ancestors of the Los Illuminados as we know them, existed on the island, right? They were banished to the island, right? And we got more emerging lore on that. I actually very much like how we got emerging lore on that. Okay, I don't think I can hit that, but it's fine. It doesn't look like it seems to notice me. I love that cinder blocks can just stop an RPG 7. I'll take that. Or I can miss. It hits the shot perfectly. Headshot status. Misses the direct follow-up. Oh, I'm gonna miss those pesetas. That's fine. I usually like to hug the hug going up this way. I think it's a little safer. Once again, you see my my preference for putting myself into a situation where I know I can't be flanked, even if it's at a detriment. And then expanding on that, and then just taking things out, taking them out one at a time. Not bad. I was waiting for that scout to go away, and then wait for the main force. That was close. I think I missed the cart, which is unfortunate, but it's fine. Out of here with that. We'll just drop down. I think those have expired at this point. Yeah, those have expired. Who still has dynamite? There's a switch here, press it. That opens up door. This is actually one of the few instances where I think the merchant can actually take damage because he's like right there, and if someone's following you, right, which he's gonna follow me, or alternatively, at the end of the passage over there, there's a bunch of enemies too. So I think this is one of the few instances where the merchant can actually take damage. Try to auto-correct that. There we go. I don't know where TNT guy went, but I'm just going to ignore it. As it turns out, object permanence says that if I don't see it, it doesn't matter. Embrace my inner object permanence. Or the lack thereof. Did I actually hit something with that? One, two, three. Oh no, he dropped the pesetas up there. I can't actually get up there. Unfortunate. All right, 15 minutes later, we finally made it into the island. Finally made it into the facility. The use of silence here is also really good as well. I like it. Very, very quiet Very ominous from what you just had to fight through. And then obviously you have the the piano notes. How do I always forget about you? Got him. Cans and jars and unperishables reminds me of days at the ORE. I can't take that, and that makes me so sad. Shotgun ammo. Oh, I gotta be really careful, actually. Yeah, the maggot texture on this. Minimalistic, but effective. I need to be really careful. I think that's an instant kill if he grabs you. But you can also just wait him out, and he just burns. He just burns to death. What was he doing in there? He's Oven Man. I'm surprised that they kept Oven Man in there. In the remake. This meat's rotten, but I sure could use a fat, juicy steak right about now. I know people point to this specific line of dialogue to the Plaga taking hold of Leon. Yes, I too keep a frag grenade in the 3-bay sink. Man, it's dirty. Unironically, like, oh god, I've worked in kitchens where like people will let the sanitizer, not with like floating shit in there, right? But they'll let sanitizer get super oily and they won't actually drain it. And it pissed me off every time that happened because I'm very meticulous with my 3-bay sinks. Anyways, but the meat thing I was talking about, they point to it as Leon being taken over by the Plaga, you know, kind of becoming a Ganado, right? Effectively. But like, I don't read it as such. I don't know. I haven't been able to read it as such. I haven't been able to get behind the logic on that one. I forget how fast the armor guys are actually missing completely from the remake. Like they're just absent. They do not exist in the remake. Which was a really, they're so fast too. Which was a really odd choice, all things considered. Like I don't know. I'm kind of mixed on it because I kind of miss them. But like, man, they're real. I don't know. They were kind of campy, right? Type C. Skitter. Yes, Ashley, I hear you. It's like it's almost, it's not quite as bad as the ringing phone from Silent Hill 2 for the room, right? It's not quite as bad as that because that is its own special form of torture, right? The phone you answer in the Otherworld apartments. I think it's the Richard Braintree section, right? Or whatever his name is. The chaos plate, right? That guy. But like the phone that just rings throughout the apartment complex, that sucks. That is definitely like chat is like, this is the exact room you need. Like 100% like totally empathize with that and appreciate them for pointing that out because that section sucks. So how does he know though? Like that's the question. Like obviously security camera, right? I'm going to be looking for continuity to see if there's actually a camera in the room because I think I know where it's at. Because that should be the window Ada throws the thing through, right? How do they know he's looking at that exact moment?
Amateurs.
Maybe like they're
Just hang in there, Ashley.
maybe they're like the Plaga communicating with each other, maybe like hypersonic frequency or whatever. But like that definitely threw me off. Like if they turn off the camera, this is another one of those like logic breaks of like, but how do they know, right? How do they know he's watching them? Like that's very much convenience for the sake of convenience, right? Like that's convenient because plot demands it, right? Once again, probably overthinking that specific section. Oh, I missed. I've definitely had an issue with trying to get them to spawn once upon a time. Oh, whoop. Or I can miss like an absolute idiot. I always forget that this filing cabinet exists. And then I think it's RPGs that spawn next, right? No, it's bowguns. Holy fuck, my guy. They just show up out of the blue, don't they? Playing this after going back and playing other things of the era, like I said, Metal Gear Solid, Delta is technically a faithful remake, right? Silent Hill 4, The Rooms, even Silent Hill 2 Remake, right? Which is very... It's not super faithful. It's faithful to a degree, right? But like, it very much adds things and is referential of the original puzzles from the original Silent Hill 2, like the horseshoe and wax thing, right? Where are you? Oh, he's stuck in the wall. I get it. He's stuck on the divider. I think it just makes me appreciate this era all the more. It hurts that I had to leave that behind. Especially as red herbs, I need them. I do definitely camp in the remake. I camp the Itachi case that gives you more red herb. Oh, that hurts. It's fine. Knowing that that's there might help later. Potentially. And that leads you back down where that safe station is. Sure. Very iconic section of the game, honestly. I'm a huge fan of this. Somebody who loves biological horror and stuff. I love this. Some kind of research equipment. I wonder what it's used for. And then you have the actual, like, regenerator for your showcase. Very iconic. Must be the door security system. Operate it. If I remember correctly, it's... Yeah, you do blue. Then you do yellow. Green. Twice. And then red, I think, solves it. There we go. Yeah, you're just making a line from one to the other. Luis Memo 3. Hideous creatures such as El Gigante and the Visitadores were nearly byproducts of the diabolical and inhuman experiments conducted on the specimens that were once human. But there's one type of creature that clearly distinguishes itself from the rest. These creatures are called regenerators, or regenerators. Where does the D come in? Because I know regenerator I thought was the actual official term. Regenerators have a superior metabolism that allow them to regenerate the lost body parts at incredible speeds. Never seen anything like it. It is this characteristic that makes them almost invincible to conventional weapons. Like any other creature, there's a way to kill it. Apparently, there are plagas that live in its body, somewhat like leeches. They can't be seen with the naked eye. They can only be located through thermal imaging. To stop its regeneration process, these leech-like plaga must be destroyed. Located and then destroyed. As far as I know, most of the regenerators host a number of these leech-like plagas. To kill the regenerators, each of these leech-like plagas must be killed. So there's actually a big omission in the remake, and I wonder if it was to prevent cheesing the regenerators in the main game. I also like this. What kind of experiments were going on around here? I love that this is just a thing. It's held in stasis, even in the remake. It exists in the remake too. It's held in stasis. There's not really like an explanation other than like, yeah, diabolical experiments. Like, this is iconic, and like, there's not really any more information on it, which makes me really sad because I actually really like it's really cool. It's a good show, not tell. Anyways, we're missing incendiary grenades. Freezer key guard. We're missing incendiary grenades in their entirety in the remake. Separate ways. It brought things like the Ada being able to use her zipline gun, right? It brought a couple new things with it, right, and brought some things back from the old game, right? But we do not have incendiary grenades. With incendiary grenades, if I remember correctly, if you throw it right at them, it can actually hit all of the plaga and destroy a single regenerator. And I think that regenerator, excuse me, which I think is why they didn't include it in the remake. If I had to guess, that is my. I'm going to give an educated guess on why they wouldn't put it in the remake. I think it's because it specifically cheeses regenerators and cheeses a couple other things. But, I mean, it could also just be, like, fire physics hard. Probably something that just didn't fit with the engine, right? I don't know. Well, we had the flamethrower in Resident Evil 7, right? So, I mean, like, clearly the RE engine can handle fire. Missing the one on the right. This is actually really good at dealing with them, strictly because the bullet hits, and then there's the AoE around it. The AoE that knocks back a lot of the other... yeah, we're missing the incendiaries in their entirety. The single shot that hits and then the AoE around it, I think it's any damage is enough to destroy a regenerator's plaga, and that's probably why the incendiary grenade works. Because I assume it's any damage. Like, you don't have to hit it with a shotgun blast. If you hit it with, you know, a Punisher round, like you're saying you're using handgun, right? If you hit it with a Punisher round versus a Red 9 round, it's not going to matter, right? You hit it with a TMP round, it's not going to matter. All that matters is that you hit it, right? So, yeah. I mean, they become bullet sponges, obviously, for obvious reasons. Its lock looks like an ED key. Insert a card key. Door feels cold. Must be a freezer of some sort. Inserted the freezer key card. So I actually really like this section in terms of show not tell. These bodies must have been cryogenized from the parasites still with the parasites on the body. Sucks to be them, but very cool show not tell. You get to see some of like the malformed regenerators and stuff. Like that one actually comes alive if you unfreeze everything. That one is actually just clutching another Plaga, which is actually kind of cool. But you notice that one and this one also look kind of El Gigante-esque, right? Or at least they're starting to with the forward leading, right? The gate, right, as well. How they stand, which I think further adds credence to them being El Gigante being kind of a product of specific circumstances, and then like obviously like a fail rate from being generally pretty high. Must be a card key writer. Maybe I can rewrite the data on my card key and turn it to another card key. I feel that was a little bit of redundant wording. Data on the key card. Data on the card has been rewritten. Waste disposal key card. So in the remake, you got some kind of cryogenic device. Turn it off. No. So in order to get the thermal scope, you would come in here because you would have to unfreeze it, right? It's completely frozen and won't open. Thus, you have to do that in order to get the scope, and then it unfreezes, and then this regenerator comes back, right? In the remake, they kind of made it so that the card key, the card key system is just really slow, and then the regenerator comes at you regardless. So they kind of redesigned the entire encounter, which was honestly pretty cool to see. I liked it. I thought it was cool. I think the remake was very faithful in a lot of aspects to this. It's locked. It looks like I need to insert a card key. There's a faint, unpleasant odor coming from beyond the store. Smells like garbage. The trash, man. Insert a disposal key card. If I remember correctly, I think I can only do one. So doing funny crane game, right? Discard, don't care. Zero levels operating overhead crane, operate. So I can get one. But I think if I try to get the second, I think I clip right through them. Right, so we're gonna go grab the guy on the left, right? And like I'm right over him. And it just clips, right? You can't grab him. I wonder if maybe it's that specific guy. I've only ever been able to grab one. And I mean, obviously it's like anti-cheesing measure, right? Oh, so I can grab, maybe it's that guy specifically then. Because I was able to grab the guy on the far, maybe he's just bugged. It could be possible. That's a weird one. Maybe it's where he's at specifically on the map. Like he feels like he's bugged. Trying to remember when the Ada Krauser cutscene is. I think it's up ahead. I always forget where it is in sequence. I always think it's supposed to happen before the island. So waste dump, maybe it leads to the lower levels. Keep that green up for later. Yeah, so like this theme makes sense for here, right? This like, you know, they can kind of get the imagery in your head of like a heart monitor, right? Think like the Trauma Center games, like Trauma Center on the Wii, right? Think like that, right? Like that makes sense for an area like this. Not necessarily in the castle dining room, right? I think the theme is a little inappropriate there. Hole in the wall. I do think my rounds will bounce off of the big armored guys, though. Handgun ammo. She's smacking air, though. I can knock him back, but it doesn't kill him. Trying to see if I couldn't hit his hand. Oh, no, I hit him. I hit the other one. I don't know what I hit him with. It's locked. I need to insert a key. I love that. It's the Silent Hill 4 the room effect, right? Like, Ashley doesn't acknowledge you when you go to the water prison world for the first time, and the dude who's like, Walter's gonna get me, right? And he's like reaching outside of the cell, but he doesn't actually acknowledge you. Same energy off of this. This is actually really funny. Like, she technically acknowledges you, right? Because she stops banging on the door, right? But she doesn't do anything to like acknowledge your presence, like verbally, right? That one's actually really interesting. I didn't even think of checking for that before, because usually I just continue on with my merry murder hobo spree. I never really think to stop about and look at that. I would like to read the whiteboard potentially. Knock. What are these x-rays showing? These x-rays showing? I think it's too faded. I'd be very curious if there's anything in the actual like design documents like of what these actually showcase, right? Like actual like upscale textures, right? I think in the remake you might be able to read because the remake was designed with like what 1080p 4K 2K in mind. But obviously this is too low quality to really tell. But I mean, obviously, like getting the game to run was more important than like, you know, ultra HD textures. The fact that this functioned on like the GameCube is wild. Oh, I'm having to pass up so many herbs. I hate it. And this is the introduction of the Iron Maiden. Just look at all these lab instruments. I do dislike that the remake effectively made every single regenerator, excuse me. I'm trying to use their official name. I do dislike that they made every single one of them an Iron Maiden, because you kill most of the plot, like except for like the first two, I think, and there's a couple exceptions. But when you knock out a regenerator, I'm trying, man, I'm trying. Storage room key card. It is definitely one of those where like, yeah. Like when everyone becomes an Iron Maiden, I think you start to lose the specialty of what the Iron Maiden actually is. I don't know. I wasn't a huge fan of it because then the one Plaga goes from a dormant state to an active state, and then you have to go hit it in the head. And I'm just bad at hitting the head. I'm bad at hitting the headshot too. So I mean, I will take that on the chin. What are they growing in these petri dishes? So I saw those. That's shotgun ammo. That felt really weird in my left ear. I didn't like that sound. I don't like that decompressing like pop sound. Ugh. So I'm trying to remember. I thought that this was... So this is optional, I think, right? Because there's nothing saying you have to do this. If I remember correctly, if you don't call it in, you have to do the final section without Mike. But, like, I'm always right here, so I always call it in. Like, if you wanted to make your game harder, if you really wanted a... Well, I don't know. Does Mike show up regardless? Because, like, I don't think there's an alternative cutscene. So maybe Mike shows up at the... I don't know. I don't know how... I thought that... I think that this is optional, but I don't know how it actually changes the flow of the game. I don't know if this actually, like, changes anything. Or maybe, like, Ada calls it in instead.
This is Leon. Request backup. I repeat, request backup.
Radio signal's being jammed. I can't contact my people. Your people talk to his people. His people talk to your people. It's all connected like a circle. Ah, it always comes back to Adam Sandler movies. I think it is a really cool, like, it is a really cool look at the island facility. I will give it that. Like, the sense of scale is there. Much like when you look outside the apartment in Silent Hill 4 the room and you kind of see a bustling city, right? Like, especially nowadays we look at that and go, man, that's some pretty low poly tech, or man, that's some pretty low tech usage of ways of doing things, right? I don't know, it's endearing. I like it. That took me... It was about a half hour to do that. That's not awful. so glad the one on the left is utterly blind and deaf. Even his plot. He got the Sergeant Doofy Plaga. No, bro, not like this.
No, it's Special Officer Doofy.
Shit, you're right. Oh god, that movie could not be made today. It really couldn't.
No, it could.
God damn it! It would piss off a lot of people, though. Oh, I have to get her out of there. Use the storage room card key. Perfect.
Leon.
You okay?
That took me 35 minutes to do.
Let's get out of here.
I think the next one shouldn't be that. It shouldn't be that long because I think it ends with the tractor sequence. 5-1, yeah, is a little long. That's fine. We can continue. We can do this. We can make this happen. Actually, tell you what, because I'm trying to QA this, instead of pushing too hard, we're gonna unceremoniously stop the episode there because I want to make sure I'm not pushing this. I'm trying not to push these over an hour if I can avoid it. That way, it's just, you know, one, it gets uploads, but two, it's also like it makes it, you know, respectful of people's time and all that fun stuff. So we'll stop that there because that took me 35 minutes. I don't know how that took me 35 minutes. That took me a little bit of time to actually get through the island, though. Part one of the island. I will see you guys in the next one.